Hello friends, today I'm back with a film that's all about less talk, more action. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight into the story. Right at the start, we're taken to a small Japanese town called Shinjo. This town was once ruled by a mafia boss named Kumagami. His gang was called the Yakuza. One day, Kumagami finds out that a new gang has popped up in his city. Furious, he slashes one of his own men's face in rage. Everything was under control, until suddenly, a lone man named Sakata attacks the Yakuza gang. All by himself, he takes them down, one after another. When Kumagami hears about this, he tries to flee for his life. But just then, Kumagami's most loyal man rushes in to stop Sakata. Even though Sakata gets badly beaten, at one point he cuts off that man's hand and starts chasing Kumagami. Kumagami fires a bullet from his gun to kill Sakata, but the bullet accidentally hits one of his own men. And after that, Sakata wipes out the entire Yakuza gang and kills Kumagami. Just then, a wounded man lying nearby tries to shoot Sakata, but from behind, another man named Fujita shows up and shoots the attacker dead. Turns out, Sakata and Fujita were working together all along. And after destroying the Yakuza, Sakata finally decides it's time to retire from this violent life. Fujita tries to talk him out of it, but Sakata is firm. He says he's done with bloodshed and destruction, because now he has a small family. So Sakata goes back home, and we see his wife and a little daughter named Ryo. They live a peaceful, happy life. Sakata kept his family hidden from the world, so that his dark past would never touch them. But one day, as Sakata is about to freshen up, he hears some strange noises from inside the house. He rushes out and sees that his wife and daughter are being held hostage by a group of masked men. Sakata quickly realizes these are members of the Demon Gang, a new criminal group rising in Shinjo. Their leader tells Sakata, "You did me a favor by wiping out the Yakuza gang, but if you could destroy them all by yourself, that means you could destroy my gang too, so I'm not taking any chances. I'm killing all of you." Sakata pleads with them to spare his family, but one by one, they murder his wife and child right in front of his eyes. In unbearable grief, Sakata vows, "I'll destroy every last one of you." But before he can act, one of the gang members shoots Sakata in the head and leaves him for dead. And just like that, Sakata and his entire family are wiped out. The next day, the news breaks. A madman killed his wife and daughter, then took his own life. Now the story jumps 12 years ahead. We learn that Sakata didn't die. The bullet hit only one side of his head, but the brain damage left him completely paralyzed. Since then, his old friend Fujita has been taking care of him. Fujita rescued Sakata from the brink of death and hid him in a secret location, away from the eyes of any gang. He even hired a private caretaker to look after him, because the last thing Sakata needed was to be discovered by those monsters again. Now, we're shown a press conference, where reporters are questioning the mayor of Shinjo City. The mayor unveils a massive paradise project, a skyscraper complex filled with parks, malls, bars, and even a casino, a dream tourist destination. But suddenly, a bold reporter stands up and asks, "Mr. Mayor, everything sounds great, but crime in this city is rising every day. Ever since the Yakuza were wiped out, the Demon Gang has been growing stronger. What steps have you taken against them? Also, I have proof that your rise to power was backed by the underworld." The mayor freezes. He silences the press and abruptly ends the conference. That night, we see that same reporter meeting with a mysterious man, the same guy who had his face slashed by Kumagami at the start of our story. The reporter is collecting intel about the Demon Gang, but just then, masked men from the Demon Gang show up and brutally kill both the reporter and the ex-Yakuza member. Meanwhile, Sakata, still paralyzed, was taken outside for some fresh air by his caretaker. But just then, out of nowhere, a man ambushed them and stabbed Sakata in the hand with a knife. And we see that man was none other than the former Yakuza member whose hand Sakata had once sliced off. But upon seeing Sakata in such a helpless state, he spares his life and walks away without causing much harm. Sakata is rushed to the hospital, and 2 police officers are assigned to guard his room. Later, their superior, Officer Shino, arrives to see Sakata himself. After dismissing his 2 juniors, Shino quietly enters Sakata's room alone. And here's where we learn the shocking truth. Officer Shino is actually a member of the Demon Gang. He's here to finish Sakata off, once and for all. In fact, Shino was present the day Sakata's family was murdered. Seeing Shino's masked face again, Sakata's blood boils with rage. That fire inside reignites every ounce of strength he had lost. And somehow, he stands up, against all odds, and attacks Officer Shino. Even though he struggles to keep up, the memory of his wife and daughter drives him. In a brutal confrontation, Sakata manages to kill Officer Shino. Meanwhile, his old friend Fujita arrives at the hospital to check on him. When he sees Sakata walking again, he's shocked. Sakata is back on his feet, and now he's ready to wipe the demon gang off the face of the earth. Then we see a masked man forcing women to manufacture and package drugs. Another masked man is shown trafficking kidnapped girls overseas. Just by the masks, it's clear these horrors are being committed under the demon gang's command. Now, to carry out his revenge, Fujita comes up with a plan. He hides Sakata inside a duffel bag and delivers him to one of the gang's drug warehouses. Though unconscious when he's brought in, Sakata wakes up at the perfect moment and starts brutally eliminating every gang member in sight. Meanwhile, Fujita and the caretaker try to flee the scene, but the warehouse security guard gets a call alerting him that Sakata has attacked the gang. Without hesitation, the guard opens fire on them. The poor caretaker dies on the spot. Fujita, although shot, kills the guard and stays behind, waiting for his friend. Inside the factory, Sakata keeps hunting down and killing every last demon gang thug. When the factory boss, another masked man, sees this chaos, he escapes outside and blows up the entire warehouse with explosives. Though he suffers massive losses, he calls the gang leader and says, "Boss, don't worry. I've killed Sakata." But just then, wrapped in a blanket, Sakata emerges from the burning building alive. The masked boss panics and scrambles to load his gun. But before he can fire, Fujita crashes a car into him, knocking him aside. Bleeding and broken, Fujita turns to Sakata and says, "Forgive me, my friend. It's because of me that your family died. I was the one who gave the demon gang your location, but they promised me they wouldn't harm you." Hearing this, Sakata is consumed with rage and kills his own best friend without hesitation. Then he notices, despite being hit by a car, the masked man is still alive. Sakata captures him and tortures him brutally, demanding to know, "Who's your boss?" But even after taking a severe beating, the man refuses to speak. Just then, the gang leader calls the masked man's phone. Sakata picks up the call, and that's when we learn the truth. The leader of the demon gang is none other than the mayor of Shinjo City. Yes, the mayor himself runs this criminal empire behind a mask. On the call, the mayor says, "I never thought you'd survive, but let me give you some good news. Your daughter Rio is still alive. I've kept her in a safe location. If you don't stop killing my men, I swear, she'll be next." But Sakata doesn't flinch. Instead, he kills the captured gang member on the spot. Next, we see Rio, Sakata's daughter, still alive. She had been raised by a man from the demon gang named Sumo. Sumo had plans to smuggle Rio out of the country once she got a little older, but Rio believes Sumo was her real father. Then we're introduced to a police officer named Takigawa. One night, Sakata suddenly shows up at his house. Turns out, Takigawa is a very close friend of Sakata's. Sakata begs for his help to find his missing daughter. Takigawa tells him there's a luxury hotel owned by the demon gang where they force girls into illegal activities. It was possible that Rio, Sakata's daughter, was being kept at that hotel. Hearing this, Sakata doesn't waste a single moment. He heads straight to the hotel to find her. He kills several guards and breaks into a room. And there, hiding in a corner, is Rio. But naturally, Rio doesn't recognize her real father. She thinks this man has come to harm her. Sakata, however, is overwhelmed with joy just by seeing her, especially when he finds some of her old childhood photos. But at that moment, Sumo walks into the room. He tries to attack Sakata, but seeing Rio in the corner, he instead turns to Sakata and shouts, "Why are you doing this? What has my daughter ever done to you?" Hearing Sumo's voice, Sakata suddenly remembers. He's the one who shot his wife. Sakata lunges at Sumo to kill him, but before he can do anything, Rio points a bow and arrow at her real father and holds him hostage. Not knowing the truth, she fires the arrow to protect the only man she's ever known as her dad, Sumo. Taking advantage of the moment, Sumo throws Sakata out of the building. But luckily, the police officer Takigawa had arrived just in time. He pulls Sakata into his car and drives him far away. Long ago, Sakata had once saved Takigawa's life, and that's why he's now risking everything to help Sakata. Meanwhile, the mayor watches the hotel's security footage and spots Takigawa helping Sakata. He instantly realizes Takigawa is a traitor, so he calls him and demands to speak directly to Sakata. Over the phone, the mayor says, "Enough hiding. If you want to save your daughter, come meet me at Paradise." Now, determined to rescue his daughter, Sakata heads to a secret location, a hidden arsenal where he retrieves his favorite weapons and his beloved car. He gears up, ready to avenge his family. At the Paradise property, Ryo was being held in a separate room. All the guards were prepared to kill Sakata on sight, but Sakata outsmarts them, sneaks in through a side entrance, and starts eliminating them one by one. Eventually, Sumo, now wearing a mask, stands in his way. A brutal fight breaks out between the two. At one point, Sakata finally kills Sumo and takes the elevator up to where Ryo is being kept. There, he sees his daughter once again, but Ryo still doesn't recognize him. Sakata gently tries to talk to her, tries to make her remember, but it's no use. Suddenly, someone shoots Sakata from behind, knocking him unconscious. Both Sakata and Ryo are taken to the mayor, and in front of everyone, the mayor confesses he is the true leader of the demon gang. Now, he plans to kill both Sakata and his daughter. Seeing no way out, Sakata desperately begs the mayor for mercy, and in that moment, Ryo starts to remember. She recalls a day from her childhood, how her father had begged someone just like this to protect her. Back then, the bullet had hit her doll instead of her, and that's what saved her life. Finally, she realizes this man is her real father. Just then, Officer Takigawa storms in, opening fire and rescuing Sakata. A battle erupts once more. Sakata takes on a fresh wave of masked assassins. He kills most of them, but one of them proves nearly impossible to defeat. This man is fast, skilled, and ruthless. Sakata keeps losing the upper hand, but somehow, with everything he has left, he lands a savage blow. When the mask falls off, we see the shocking truth. This man is the mayor's twin brother. We're taken into a flashback. The mayor, Tsunohara, had a twin named Sukahara. From childhood, Tsunohara bossed him around, and Sukahara, blindly devoted to his brother, followed every order like a servant. Now, watching his brother die, Tsunohara explodes in rage. He puts on a mask himself and attacks Sakata directly, but Sakata is already badly wounded, no match for Tsunohara's fury. Taking advantage, the mayor cuts off one of Sakata's arms. Still, Sakata refuses to give up. He fights on for his daughter, and at last, he strikes Tsunohara in the head and kills him. Moments later, Ryo arrives at the scene. Sakata, seeing her, is filled with emotion. But just then, Sumo, still alive, shoots Sakata from behind. He cries out, "Ryo, I'm your real father! I raised you!" But before he can finish his sentence, Sakata shoots him dead from behind. And finally, in his dying moments, Sakata embraces his daughter and says, "I love you, sweetheart. Stay safe." With those last words, Sakata breathes his final breath. Soon, police and fire crews flood the scene. Even though the mayor died, his twin brother Sukahara somehow survived. After recovering, he tells the media this was a terrorist attack and takes his brother's place as the city's new mayor. After years of being a shadow, Sukahara is now in charge. He wears the mask himself and decides to rebuild the demon gang. But at that very moment, Ryo shows up. She launches a flurry of arrows and kills Sukahara on the spot, avenging her father's death and saving the city from the grip of these monsters. And with that, our story comes to an end. So, how did you like it? Let me know in the comments. That's all for today. Goodbye.